Hi, everyone. Can you hear us okay?
Didn't you see it?
Yeah, I think we tested the audio.
It wasn't there.
Okay, yeah, we did a test run with.
So Len said one of them, and I got the other one figured out.
Today's agenda?
Didn't hear from you.
Yes.
We don't think so.
And
I hope that will work.
Greg,
You know Rosemary?
I wrote to this one.
Rosemary, is that correct? Rosemary is our resident educator, so Christy's.
But I thought, okay, so I did some. And I was gonna write to the governor and everything. So now that I have this, I'm gonna.
Notice everyone's agenda says, oh, it says Sandy. I got 5 buttons that didn't give you guys agenda.
Oh, it's.
It's gonna be the most important part of the agenda.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have put Sandy there. You should have just left it to give checks. So everyone would have had to.
Oh, everybody would have.
So.
All right, well, I go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is the Waynesboro Advocacy Committee meeting for May 5th. Welcome everybody, and welcome those that are online in the director's conference room. We do have a quorum today, so I think we'll go ahead and look at the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any recommended changes or edits to the minutes, corrections? Hearing none, minutes are approved. So we'll go ahead and move to our feature for today. Joe, you want to introduce?
Yeah, well, actually, we've got Christy Dethridge, our education manager, with us today. So since they've already known each other, and I've just met Rosemary 5 minutes ago, we're going to have Christy do some proper introductions.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So we are fortunate enough to have added Rosemary Wagner to our education team last summer. I have had the pleasure of knowing Rosemary for quite some time prior to that, though, because she's been in the Waynesboro school system. And I'm going to let her tell you all more about herself, our connection, and the awesome work that she is just starting right now. So I'll turn it over to Rosemary. But Rosemary, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. So the last 20 years of my time in Waynesboro, I was what we call in Virginia an ITRT. So those of you that don't know that acronym, that's an instructional technology resource teacher. And when I first worked with Christy, the 7th grade science teachers at K Collins wanted to do one of the virtual programs. And they did not view themselves as very tech savvy. So they wanted me to be on hand in case there was a problem. And so that was one of the fossil lessons that Christy and I forget the other educator that was at the museum at the time. But they were showing the kids things virtually, and they had to move from one part of the museum to another part. And we did lose connection in that time. So I was able to help them get back on. And because I had seen that lesson and how it all worked, later years when I was at some elementary schools, because I've kind of been everywhere in every school in Waynesboro in my career. And so I tried to help promote the lesson. And it seemed to be one thing that the Waynesboro teachers really zeroed in on was the fossil lesson. So that's the one that, and I would help try to keep promoting them doing that, even though it really wasn't in my job description. At that point, it was more the educator came and did it. It wasn't as much virtual. And
I think that was Janelle Catholic, is that right?
Yeah, so Janelle started. Yeah, she's the one that came when we were at K Collins, and one at Westwood. And then at Winona, Bruce was one that came 1 year, and then there was not an educator that was doing it, so we had to skip a year. And then the last time that they did it, Christy had to come all the way from Martinsville. And I had a little discussion with her. It's like, well, I'm planning to retire next year. you know, if you are having trouble finding, I would be interested in doing this work because Jenna Connoisser, that a lot of you all know, is a great friend of mine, and we kind of both try to promote with the elementary schools. So in June, I started getting onboarded with the museum and shadowed Christy with a lesson on rocks and minerals that I had not seen. So I was really glad to see that in Albemarle County. And then I shadowed her on another lesson at Waynesboro Public Library on fossils, which was a little bit different than what we did in a classroom. Like, we didn't have them make their own replica of a fossil, but she was more telling the other people there, and it was a wide range. It was everything from young children to older adults that were interested, and we had a few children that were extremely interested and wanted to be real involved. And Christy was so eloquent and so gracious that she allowed them to be able to share their knowledge. And it came out that they were homeschooled. And I was thinking, oh, you know, this would be a great way for some homeschool families also to be able to get some of the science education. And as it has turned out, there have been a couple lessons that I have done that have had some homeschool families involved. And one of those was in Fluvanna County's library, at their library, and it was the Monacan lesson. And my first experience with the Monacan lesson was at our own Berkeley Glen Elementary School. Second grade wanted that. And I had not had much experience with that. So got reconnected with Janelle, and she shared some research she had used and how she had done it. So I did what I kind of have added a little bit different to the lesson. And being an ITRT, I can't help but have a little bit of technology. So I have shown the kids on Google Earth where they are located, where the Monacan village, where the kind of center of that tribe is present day. So they can kind of see the distance that they are from the museum. So also did that lesson. And Jennifer, do you have the slides? Okay, so you can go ahead. Yes. And okay, so I've had some help with different getting what Janelle gave me really helped a lot. But as I've been working in the warehouse, and I don't know if y'all know where that is at the Fontaine Center in the forestry warehouse. So it's a climate controlled room because we do have animal specimens there to kind of help them. But I was a little overwhelmed, I will have to admit. Because as you know, well, maybe not everybody does, but the SOLs in Virginia and the science, especially with elementary, have adjusted a lot over the years. And some of the containers at the warehouse were not labeled the same as the lessons. And so I was really confused. And one day I was there, Nancy Newman had left me a message. And so she doesn't do a lot of lessons now, but she
was a previous educator right over in Charlottesville.
Yes. And she still works with the retirement community that she lives at. And so she had been there and gave me her number. And so I got with her, and I never knew this, and I don't know if you all did, but apparently back some years ago, there was a satellite at UVA. And then what is over there, they were taken out, and in one kind of row where some of the tubs that I was really confused about were ones they used to let teachers check out. And so they're called different kits. And so they don't necessarily go with the lessons that are published on the museum website because they were different kinds of things. So I now feel like I have a better handle on what everything is over there, thanks to Nancy, which was great fun. And I've been investigating some of those tubs so that I can be more prepared for if there are different lessons that are requested. So at the top there, you can see the Monacan tribe. Those are the Charlottesville lesson was at the Charlottesville Day School, which is a private school. And we did it to a third grade and a fourth grade class there. And then the Fluvanna Public Library was a homeschool group. It wasn't an official kind of group of homeschoolers, but just ones that kind of get together periodically. And they seem to be interested. They might want to do other lessons. And I will say that I can't help myself. When I go, I tell teachers, oh, we have other lessons you could do too. You know, and because I am being an ITRT, I knew all the SOLs for K-5 because as I would work with teachers. So I know what are the lessons that, Jennifer, can you go back to the previous slide? Okay, so then in April, we went to one of the Chesterfield Public Library branches and did owl pellets. And it happened to be when a lot of them were on spring break. So most of the ones that came were homeschool families. And one thing I discovered is that I know that we have a limit on how many students can be in a lesson, but a lot of those parents helped. So it wasn't as hard. Like we could probably do bigger groups if it's going to be parents involved and come with their kids because they are kind of like little assistants because they work with their children. And so I just had to check and make sure everybody was keeping up and understood what they were doing. Now this summer, starting in June, there for a while, it would seem like every week Christy would be emailing me and say, we got a new program that somebody wants somewhere. So the yellow stars are June, and then the blue stars are kind of more oh, I'm sorry, no, I got that backwards. The yellow stars are June and July. The blue stars are what has already transpired. So I'm learning about where a lot of places are. And so it's a little bit expanded from Central Virginia. But I don't really have a problem with going, Chesterfield's not that far away. Even with the Jefferson Madison Regional Library, they're somewhat scattered, and some of them, like one is going to be a little further, like at Scottsville, but most of them aren't that far.
Thank you for being willing to travel.
Oh, you're welcome.
So they probably have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. And so the one that I did not know about, I did not know Harrisburg, Virginia. So I will be,
Blacksburg, right?
yes,
Right,
yes, like you're almost to West Virginia.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that one because that'll be an area that I haven't visited before. And we're doing Dino Dig and the Let's Make a Fossil lesson for all of those. So we had a lot of our lessons happened to go with the reading theme this summer. So that's why there's a lot more in this. Usually we don't have a lot in the summer, but that's why. And then these are some of the pictures. The top pictures are from the Monacan lessons, and the bottom pictures are from the owl pellet lesson. And I happened to mention about the Waynesboro branch that you're working on to some of the families. They were ready to come the next week. So
We are too.
Past ready.
yes. So and I have an email tried to contact Stanton, Waynesboro, and Augusta County to try to promote that. This summer I hope to be able to see if I can do appointments with the directors of instruction for those school divisions, so that because staff changes a lot from time to time, and hopefully we can get some more local done. So I don't know if y'all have any questions.
Any questions for Rosemary?
Do you find that the owl pellets is just something that's very popular? People really get into that?
They really enjoyed it. The kids just dug right in. They weren't hesitant at all. But I've only had one of those, so
Okay.
I'm not sure how much that will be. I know in Waynesboro schools, our gifted teachers do that program with the students, so we might not get, like from Waynesboro, we may not get that request. So that might be another thing that, if we know what are some of the organized homeschool groups that we might approach them, that might be something they don't have ready access to that they would like to get together and do.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. And Christy, thank you for not just the introductions, but for developing this program up here. And it's, of course, another toehold for the museum within the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great way to familiarize people with what the museum can bring. And I know we've had success at doing these programs in Waynesboro over the years, and I'm glad to see that we now have a local educator that's active, and I'm sure you can use your connections as you have over the years to build out a stronger following. So we look forward to hearing about that next year.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to come to any of these meetings. We do meet monthly.
Okay.
So I'll make sure that you get added to the invitation. We don't expect you to come every time, but certainly you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
I appreciate your work. Let's move on to community connections then. I know we did have a pretty good report about the state budget. I mean, an extensive report about the state budget. I don't know if there's any updates to share. I don't know if, Joe, this might be the time to talk about your meeting with the Secretary of Education. When we have that on that.
We can. It's not.
Okay.
It wasn't really budget related, but
Right.
We can do that. But Jonathan, why don't you start with what do you know about the?
But it's still in the hands of the conferees this morning. So yeah, they're still negotiating. They're still being brought back to Richmond, and they're still working on
What's the time frame?
it. There's internal estimates, and then there's the middle to the end of June is what they're saying. So our budget analyst is hopeful that we'll get something by the end of May, but could be the middle to end of June. So hopefully by July 1st. So it's not only is that for capital projects, but that's for our general working budget as well. So.
Any questions about the state budget? Yeah, I think, Joe, maybe this might be a good time to talk about, since we're talking about state level connections, why don't we talk about that at the same time?
So Jonathan and I and Christy and Ryan yesterday sat with Secretary Smith and his deputies. It wasn't, I had no idea what to expect, to be blunt. We just weren't given information, but it was a select group of agencies, including Science Museum of Virginia, Frontier Culture, Library of Virginia, Chev was there, and School for the Deaf and Blind were there.
State Council for Higher Education in Virginia.
Yes. And there was someone there representing community colleges. So it's an eclectic group, but not very large. And that made for some really good conversations. And one thing I very much appreciate, I'm sure this is reflective of the governor's initiatives, but basically they're lumping projects into three what they call horizons. The first horizon is what can we do right now without any need for legislative support, just maybe moving some money around, moving some time around or people around, right? That will make a difference in improving the educational experience within Virginia. The second tier is a little more complex. Maybe it's approval of new full-time positions or something along those lines. And then lastly, there are the big projects, and that's Horizon 3. And the thing that was encouraging was when I said, yeah, hey, I mean, it was his prerogative. He was governor, but Governor Youngkin's day one said, we're not building anything new. We're going to take care of deferred maintenance, and we're going to work on efficiencies and consolidate where we can and so forth. And that's what he's had done. And the secretary basically was like, oh no, we're going to be building things, right? We're making a mark. So I think we're at least attitudinally at a point that it's going to be good for this, for our advocacy. So his one deputy who's going to be our rep, she's scheduling a visit for their team down to Martinsville. I'm also going to recommend to them that, you know, if they happen to be doing something else, maybe they can pass through Waynesboro and we can give them the nickel tour here so that the project takes on a different form of life. So I'll recommend that. And I also do want to sit down with them, whether it's on their trip down to Starling Avenue or if we go back up to Richmond, but I do want to sit down and make sure they're fully briefed on the project. I'll let you know when that's going to happen, if folks want to join for that and get to meet the secretary. It's very personable. So far, from what we see, a very gracious person. So we hope they'll be good to work with.
Great. Any questions about any of that?
The short version of that story was so far so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it would be nice to follow up with either them visiting here or us having a group come down to visit with him.
I'll make the invitation open for them to choose from.
Okay, that's great. Waynesboro Library display.
Yeah, we're on top of that, a little behind. So we have all the materials together. One of our team is writing up some basic text on bird evolution because we're going to be displaying an Archaeopteryx down there as well. So we just didn't get it done for today. So that was the original plan, was to install since we're traveling up here anyway. But that'll just come at a later date, but still in time for the library summer reading program.
And the trailer. We had a very busy Riverfest, beautiful day. And I know that was also the opportunity to open the trailer for the first time and have it after its renovation. So,
yeah, I just ate lunch with our volunteers. So since you guys were there, how was the experience?
Go for it. Impressive in terms of the flow. I think somebody said the final count was over 700.
775.
775. It was, yeah, it was steady. While I was there like early afternoon to mid afternoon, and yeah, a lot of enthusiasm and not just Waynesboro folks. I met folks from all over the state, even some out of state people who just were here for the festival. Good comments, but I pointed this out to Joe at lunch. This piece, I think Zach put together is excellent, I think. And one thing that I caught on because Lynn did it and I started doing it too because that was a good idea. But this question here, how can you help with the QR code, which goes directly to the governor's office? It gives people an opportunity to send a message or comment about the project directly to the governor. I went home directly and did it. It's easy. And so please keep these available in the trailer, and I hope all the volunteers will point that out to folks to do it. You know, I've talked to a number of parents and they say, oh yeah, this is great. Sure, I can do that. Well, hopefully they did. Yeah. But anyway, and also I asked Joe if he could provide electronic copies of this that we could share with friends and family and such to get them to do that too.
We'll send that out tomorrow when we're back at the office.
But
do we have a good supply of those? Were there
there were a stack there,
okay.
But I hope that will continue to be
supplied
because it's a really nicely done. Good for Zach and team for this
now,
work.
you know, he's online. His ego is probably out of control.
Exactly. Good job.
He was really good. He asked every person who came in where they were from. It did a conversation about this and how it would affect them.
Yeah.
One guy said to me, I live on D Street right over here. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, you know, to bring his
He
kids
did a
there.
really good job. Yeah, I agree.
He did a great job. But we're going to be open for 2 days and 2 weeks, so we will need
More.
Okay.
And there were a few little glitches signage wise we talked about over lunch that I'm sure I know Zach is already on that to get those repaired, that they had just slowed down. One sign.
Yeah,
But in any case.
It's quite the learning experience. We had a new vendor print the reprinted signs, and the process they went through left some kind of residue on the signs. So when you put a command strip on them to hang them up, they didn't last long. So we had a team up here. What did they come up here for? They came up here for something specific. They
awnings.
They hung the awnings up on the trailer, and they were able to do a quick run around and reinforce everything. But that one in the mineral case apparently also failed. So.
But you know, the other thing, Mary was there part of the time. And I spoke with her and we really need more volunteers because there's that 2-day arts festival coming up here shortly. And so I think all of us need to put our thinking caps on, but especially those of us locally, to try to recruit, like Sandy Green and Marilyn would be great. Honestly. She's on my list. Or, yeah, we'll
And I think-
talk.
I think I overheard some of you talking about how you should invite your friends or colleagues to join you
Yeah,
at one of the events
exactly.
to
Just
get their feet wet.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a good idea. I think that was your idea. Wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think a lot of excitement around the trailer this weekend.
Kirby?
I get a lot of questions about, well, how many people came to the River Fest? Of course, we don't have a clue. We don't keep track of that, but we also want to know how many people come from out of town, how far. Do you have, when you got names of people, did we capture?
That would be a great question for Zach, because he
Yeah,
was asking
That
that.
would be incredibly valuable information to us because, I mean, for example, we got a grant for $4,000 to show a movie Friday night. There was 104 people there at the main theater as well.
That's good.
And and we got the grant from Virginia Tourism Incorporated, I think. And the purpose was to expand Riverfest a little bit and try and bring more people into the community, more tourism. So if we had that kind of data on who attends Riverfest, that could be a very valuable indicator of how large a geographic area we draw people from. I know we can bus loads of kids from Norfolk, from Richmond, but that's, bus loads of kids, but they're of course more interested in how many families come, who spends the night, et cetera, et cetera. So all that data would be really great to capture.
We can start collecting zip code data.
Yeah,
I was
that'd be
gonna say,
easy.
if you set it up as a contest, where give us your name and zip code, and put
your
it
name
in
in a
this,
hat. And
this
would it
place
be-
or that place, and you get 4 tickets to the museum.
Great idea.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
It builds the mailing list.
Yeah.
As long as well as figuring out where the zip codes are and how far you're drawn.
There was a sign up sheet for information, to go on the mailing list,
Yeah,
your
but then-
email list, but that doesn't tell you what people click on.
No, and the other thing is people don't really like to fill out all of those things, but if there's something that they're gonna win.
And they might not be willing to share their full address, but they'll be willing to share their zip code.
Yeah.
And that gives you enough.
Yeah, where you from? Texas, Ohio, who cares? Just give me a community, Stanton, Lexington, wherever.
Yeah.
And it can also be just give us your zip code, but then if you want to be on the mailing list, give us your full address.
We really need to start capturing that because that really helps.
Yeah.
This, and it also helps the River Fest in terms of fundraising,
Right.
getting grants.
Well, congratulations to Irby and your team, because it was a really wonderful event.
We're gonna have to stop advertising it. Just keep it a secret.
Well, I want, well, that's a whole different question. It's not a museum question about advertising, but we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I mean, clearly the word got out. It's well attended.
There's something about a press release here. Are we looking at this as an opportunity to do a press release about the trailer opening and maybe something to update on our budget?
Yeah, Craig, there were 2 press releases. We've got the trailer, and then we have the one we were holding on until the budget came out.
Right.
Okay.
So the trailer one went out.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
And then the budget one, we're just holding off.
Right.
So is that distributed to, all media outlets
Mhm.
in the area? Okay.
Right.
Has anybody picked it up?
I haven't noticed. it.
Okay.
Well,
It's hard to get in the press.
Well, WHSV has a community calendar, and you can call up there or email, and they will put you on the community calendar. And then close to that date, I know I see results from that after the news at night. And the NPR station,
Yeah, WMRA.
okay,
does
they
too.
also have a calendar, and you can call and have your event put on that calendar. if their DJs or their radio hosts like what they see and are interested, they will talk about it on their shows within a week of your event. If you want it to be advertised, then there's a fee. But I talked to Maureen up there, and she said if there's a problem with that for your organization, and the fee's not very much, you know, they would work with you. So there's a way to do it that's a paid ad, and there's a way to do it that's free if their hosts are interested in your event.
What was the first outlet that you said?
WHSV TV.
Pearsonburg.
Mhm.
And then WMRA
W-
is in the NPR.
Yeah, and that's James,
Public radio.
WMRA, James.
That station in Stanton too, that I think it reaches, it doesn't have a big range, but I'm pretty sure it comes to Waynesboro. It's 103, 106.3 or something,
Yeah,
but
that
they,
alternative
it's
station.
that alternative station, great music.
Yeah.
But they also are really good about local events. That would be worth, getting contact there as well. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Channel 29 also has a community calendar. And they have a thing they call community conversations. And they will interview you. And it shows, I forget what day it comes through. It's about a 3 to 5 minute interview. You give them questions to ask you to plug your information. So that would be good for Riverfest. but
We've done that.
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
Also be good for.
I'll send you the questions. We look forward to seeing you on the.
We don't do television.
You know, the television.
Nope. Done that once in my life, no more.
The Wayne Theater uses that a lot
Yeah.
to plug their shows every time they have something new coming up.
Remind me to tell you after this meeting and after the recording, well, I don't do
Okay.
television. You will find it humorous.
Eagerly anticipated.
It also has a note here about potential for using solar energy.
We've ordered a solar generator.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it up here and we can mount the solar panels onto the roof, run a line down to the workroom, and then it will just charge passively, but it's a battery. So once you have it, when fully charged, it'll run the trailer probably for like 4 days. You know, and of course, the more thing, it won't run the HVAC, right? But it'll run the lights, the monitors, if anyone brings in a computer, or if there's any box stand and so forth, we're gonna put a box stand up there to kind of help with some of the ventilation, right? So, yeah, we should have that. We'll hopefully get it up here before the Street Art Festival.
Yeah, it's been ordered, so it's.
And did I see that we were using a generator during Riverfest?
Yeah. That's $800 a pop. This was what, $1,200. So we just outright.
Oh, okay, just one-time payment as opposed to, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
I got you.
multiple payments of it.
It should be but again, the disadvantage is you can't run the HVAC.
When you do that, you've got the doors closed and people think you're closed and they don't come in. So if you have that breeze coming through and the doors open, people will visit.
Yeah, it's fair enough point.
Have y'all looked into the possibility of getting a drop from power? Did you get numbers on that? I guess you did.
We're not getting a lot of cooperation.
Oh,
So,
From the power
Come
company
to me.
or from anybody?
well, we're now working with Dominion, but they're not exactly responsive. So that's why I was like, the heck with it. We're just gonna go solar, you know? I would still do it, right? Don't get me wrong, but we're not exactly making rapid progress on that.
Were you able to make contact with the engineering department? Because they have a separate department that will actually look at projects and, kind of what the viability is, what.
Maybe there's another route.
They sent us the billing, so.
Pardon?
They sent us the billing.
Engineering is the place you want to go.
You have to have
Yeah.
you have to have an account with them, you have to have the anyway, there's a
You know the load.
bunch of steps.
We have stats. I don't know what it is offhand.
If you can get that, I mean, we have 350 amp plugs right there from us. And that is an enormous amount of electricity. There's 3 transformers within 100 yards of the trailer. I know. But we already got, all we need is cord. I can't imagine it would take more than 50 amps.
Well, there's something
to have
2-phase,
conditioning.
3-phase, is that?
Yeah, but we used the cord last year. We've been using a cord up until now. And sometimes we get over there and there's no place to plug it in because everybody at farmer's market is plugged in.
Yeah, we fortunately won't have to deal with that anymore, right?
Well, again, I don't know any farmer that needs 50 amps.
Well, they have food trucks and other things. that
Okay, so
they-
the food trucks.
Yeah,
are
and the guy who's
okay.
playing music wants his amp plugged in.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get there and there's just no place to plug it.
We're gonna send you to the trailer statistics anyway, so you have them. Right, because I'm not fluent in that language.
I had a number for the engineering department somewhere. I'll go scrounge when I get home.
Okay.
See if I can come up with it.
Okay.
That'd be great, Dick.
Yeah.
On behalf of the facilities committee, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Services,
Yeah.
services committee.
It's been a little bit of a frustration, so I think we're dealing with the wrong people.
Anything else about the trailer? So it'll be open for the Street Art Festival and then for the farmers markets going forward because they're going to start next weekend. Yeah, great. Events. Yeah, we finished up our lecture series. Had another good turnout for thanks
Chris.
to Faye for Chris Bolgiano's talk.
Learned a lot.
Yeah,
She
she did a great job.
She packed so much
Fantastic.
information
Yes, she did.
in her presentation.
If you missed it, view it online because,
Yeah.
or, view it through the video
Yeah.
because it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tells a lot of the history of the area, and a lot of interesting things. I think it was eye-opening for folks
Well,
to
it-
hear how
it
the
was-
forest didn't even exist here.
Well,
It
it
basically got
really
burned to the ground.
demonstrated how resilient
Yeah,
forests can be
Yeah.
after being abused for centuries. You know, that was the message. That was the main message
Mm-hmm.
I took away was that, gosh, aren't we lucky, that some of our forests have been set aside, at least for now.
Well,
And,
and she'll have me looking around when I'm walking through the forest now
Yeah.
for those multiple stemmed
Yes.
trees where
Yeah.
there was a logging event and then they grew out from the stump and things like that. Yeah. It's forest forensics was her theme. So,
Yeah.
clues that you see in the forest and what
Yeah.
they mean.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Really everywhere. Pretty cool.
And so we're taking a break for the summer, but we'll start back in September. Yeah, I think we already have a bunch already lined
Yeah,
up.
we're sending out invitations.
Okay.
Right.
I think we have a full slate.
Already. That's fantastic.
Well, we have nobody's agreed
Oh,
yet.
oh,
but we
yeah.
have a
You got a
slate.
guess enough.
Yeah, enough to
Yeah.
fill the
Yeah.
spots.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just who goes when. Museum rodeo is the same as the
Yep.
street art festival, so
Yep.
that's something we've already talked about. I know dimensions.
Yeah, so Tom, I missed your email, but I did forward it to Carol and to Dick.
Uh-huh.
So the Dinosaur Dimensions, so the theater had reached out to us to see if we wanted to sponsor Dino Dimensions, and we played a small video last meeting, which shows that this is a family-friendly dinosaur presentation. They can do it at schools, they can do it at Wayne Theater. Tracy hadn't come up with any hard plans, but had some ideas as to what to do. And I thought it was intriguing, but it is minimum $5,000. And so I wanted to have board member input on that. And so we reached out and they provided us with a, not a lesson guide, but a
Study guide.
study guide for it. And so there are some problems.
Yeah.
With it. So-
Well, so when I turned to page 4 and they started with their definitions of scientific terms, and Dick is laughing already. The first term was herbivore, defined as the energy an object has due to its motion.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
Omnivore, the stored energy in an object because of its position or state. Somebody scrambled themselves here.
Yeah, I'll say.
Carnivore,
Using AI.
an interaction between two or more chemicals that produce one or more chemicals or chemical variations.
Somebody.
All right, so none of that are terms that I recognize as scientific terms. So to me, that's a big red
So
flag.
who's the, who puts this on? What's
It's
the
a private
source?
company
It
that
is.
does a number of different kinds of shows. And so this was something that Tracy had shared with me. And I like the idea of us, because when we first started converting, I said, hey, if this is something that works out and the group agrees this is a good idea, we can do more. We can make a whole dinosaur day. We can maybe set up an exhibit, small exhibit in the upstairs gallery, and we can have our paleontologist handy and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know about this particular vendor.
It seems like it's one guy in his show and he gets marketed through the company that contacted
Yep.
Tracy.
And
So I have an alternative idea, which I haven't run by Tracy, but this is very much a work in progress. But I think maybe a better use of funds and something that would be more in DMH standard, as we like to say, would be to literally do a dinosaur day here, not a full-on festival, but we can work with the theater, and while we would need some help from the team transporting materials up here, we could have 5 staff up at Wayne Theater. We would need to get a rental van. And what we could do is also then invite some of our colleagues, including some folks sitting in this room, to help either do informational tables about geology or paleontology, and to greet our visitors and so forth. And so what we can do is we can bring up our animatronic dinosaurs and put them on the Wayne Theater stage. We can have exhibits on T-Rex and Triceratops interactions, Archaeopteryx, various static plexiglass covered displays, fairly easily moved in there. And we can have a display on B&H Waynesboro. The theater can run concessions. And all I would say is that if we charge $1 a head, just for example, if we could get the first $1,725, we'll break even for what we invest. And then everything else can go to the theater, right? And then there's no money going to a third party, right? And then it's going to be all B&H, and we control the message and the quality. So I think I might, if everyone's okay with that, I'm going to propose that or something like that to Tracy. And we'll just have maybe like a 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whatever she thinks is good, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. dinosaur day right here in the downtown. And then if other companies or other nonprofits or whatever want to get involved in some way, I'm sure we can set something up. But I think everybody wins that way.
I like the idea. You said you used EBT cards or SNAP benefits, but
Yes.
how frequently do that here too?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, I've been taking information for a year for the programs to Embrace, where they have the Augusta Health Clinic on first and third Thursdays and hanging them outside so people know about it. And the other thing, well, thinking about that, most of those people speak Spanish, so if we could do a few flyers in Spanish, that would also be helpful for getting people down to the lectures.
Okay, so does this flyer already exist? Are you saying one specific?
Jenna and I take them around to the
Talk about the
businesses
science stuff.
Oh,
for the science talks.
gotcha.
I'm just saying, that's been,
Yeah.
I take them like 3 places, and some people take what I bring and take it somewhere else afterwards. Jenna has a dozen places that she delivers. But that's been good for the science talks, but when I take them to Embrace, I think, oh, most of these people speak Spanish. If we could have a Spanish version, that might be helpful for this.
Very good. And we actually have we have somebody that we work with regularly. I'm saying now the South Florida Watershed Coalition
Mhm.
has somebody that works regularly with us at JMU to translate our materials. So
Okay,
I'm
'cause
sure
I
they'd
took-
be happy to do that.
I took your stuff down there too. The South River watershed stuff.
Yeah. So Renato.
I don't know, I'm just, because I take them to that location, and I know I have been there when they distributed food, and a lot of those people do not speak English. Their kids translate for them.
Sure.
But,
All right, so step one is I'll see if Tracy wants to do this. It was, I think it was a March timeframe, if I remember right, that it was her original ideas. Huh? Yeah, March of next year. And I'm still fine with that if she wants to do that, but we kind of do it more of an in-house project. And leading up to it, we can generate informational flyers for it. And I'll get with you about getting it translated. We normally pay for a service to translate our materials. So it'd be nice if it'd be a small job, right? But if we could get a Spanish version, and we'll make that available.
I like the idea.
Right.
I think it's a
I do
great
too.
idea.
I do too.
Gives a chance to kind of showcase the
The museum,
museum,
yeah,
as
exactly.
opposed to putting our name on something that
Doesn't have a lot of scientific
Yeah.
merit.
Yeah, I agree.
Might have high entertainment value, but there's behind it.
All right, I'll get to work on that. I'll talk to Tracy this week.
And that's it for our official agenda. We're at the point where we can entertain open discussion items unless anything.
But Jonathan and I were offered a hard hat tour of the Frontier Culture Museum, which we're going to after this meeting. So if anyone wants to follow over, and have a tour, I don't think another person or two is gonna.
Remind me what their project is. I know it's.
The Crossings Gallery, so
Okay.
they're gonna massively increase their, public space, the indoor public space for interpretation. So they, of course, their main mission or attraction is all the historic reconstruction on the property, but this is gonna create a much more of a museum experience on site. Yeah, do you remember what the budget was, John?
It's 40 million.
Yeah.
Throughout the minute, so.
They've been working on that almost as long as we have
Mhm.
on this one.
Longer, I think.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. But they're in progress, right? The construction
Yeah.
is well underway.
Yes, so apparently it's a construction zone where, I guess as you first approach, I don't know what they're doing, they're probably phasing things so they can still accommodate people. But apparently that whole, I don't know what you call it, the campus there, or whatever it is apparently quite the dynamic place right now.
You might run into Fulton. Remember Fulton?
Yeah.
And met with us
Yep.
earlier on,
Yep.
because he's, I think, running that project.
Okay.
I think. So be on the lookout.
I will, I met with Peggy, their
Yes.
board chair yesterday.
Peggy
and
Sheets.
Peggy Sheets, yes. So apparently she's gonna be there. She's not director, they have a director. The board.
She
She's board
was the
chair.
chairman of the board.
Yeah, and she was interim director for a while.
Oh, I didn't realize. that.
Yeah, yeah, she jumped in when I guess they were in between.
26 years or something.
She's been involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met her
Volunteer.
several years ago.
Yeah, we met with
Yeah.
her specifically.
Yeah.
So they're all expecting this. All right, so.
One other thing that I had for open discussion was JMU is donating a aquatic macrocosm system. If they asked whether we wanted it, and the museum's gonna pick it up. Joe arranged for Marshall Boyd to go up there.
Yeah, he's working with Billy to make
Yep,
the
he
arrangements.
directly with Billy Flint, so that's just gonna be I guess they basically just take it out of inventory and put it into your inventory. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it's just.
There's no cost to it.
No, interagency transfer.
Right.
So there's no problem there, but this isn't gonna impact this project so much, although it will kind of give us some new experiences. But what we've always talked about doing, may as well just tell you, is that, we have our child in the classroom program, but some of our local experts, especially this one fellow who's now retired and still wants to do it, we have, is it 12 or 13 wild species of fish that are not game fish, non-game fish in the South River, Smith River. 12, okay, so it's 12. So we can't do it in the tank because the trout will eat them. So we're gonna set this up down at the education center, and Brian's gonna harvest some non-game fish for us to set up in here as a display. So we're gonna see how that goes, and with lessons learned, we can hopefully bring that experience up here.
Right.
And we had a previous donation from JMU that included some long tanks that are in storage now, but the idea was at some point, maybe those would become part of the laboratory space at our campus, so. Kind of holding a bunch of materials now that we could potentially repurpose.
Yeah.
But as long as people are,
Tell JMU.
yeah, if they're
keep
giving
it up.
stuff away, yeah, we're willing recipients. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is our name, and I'm now talking about the Museum of Natural History, is on the window at the offices for the South River Watershed Coalition over in the colonnades. There's a chance when that lease expires in July that they may go to a different space. So I just wanted to bring up that there will be an opportunity maybe to add our name to that banner wherever that new space might be.
Okay.
Be prepared. I'm working with DuPont right now to figure out whether they want to renew that lease or they want to move somewhere else.
Right. Very good.
Anything else for open discussion? All right. Thank you all. We're adjourned, and we'll have our next meeting next month.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Rosemary.
Zach did a great job of that. Zach did a wonderful job of that.
He's very experienced.